We're going to get started here. I'm going to jump into a few housekeeping items. So if you want to just go ahead, and we're going to jump into the next slide here. I do want everyone to be aware, and you might have seen my messages in the question box and in the chat. So please note that this will be recorded with audio. So if you are worried about taking notes or anything like that, don't worry. You'll have a copy of the slides and the recording in your inbox later today. And you'll also be able to navigate to the LocaliQ or WordStream YouTube channels, where we post all of our past webinar recordings in case you want to catch any of our past webinars as well. Also, so that's why we said to check your inbox for the email later today. And I want to make sure that you're all comfortable using the question box feature, which again, really great to see that everyone is, because I want you to feel like you can ask me questions as we dive into the content today. And if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, let me know. And as you know, if you've attended any of our past webinars, we've done some really in-depth Q&A sessions. So be sure to stick around for that too. It's kind of a unique experience where we can answer your questions in a one-on-one setting. So for everyone on this call, I want to get us on the same page as to who LocaliQ is. Now, some of you might already be familiar with LocaliQ. Some of you might already be even working with us, which is great. Some of you might be totally new and welcome. And some of you might be working with or familiar with our sister brands, WordStream and ReachLocal. So for everyone on this call today, I just want to get us on the same page that LocaliQ is a fully integrated growth marketing platform that marries innovative technology and unparalleled expertise and service to give your business everything it needs to prosper and thrive. So how exactly do we do that? Well, technology is at our core. So we use proprietary AI optimized technology informed by data from over 1 million LocaliQ campaigns that you can't find anywhere else to help make data-backed decisions for your campaigns. We also give you tools at your fingertips to save time and put time back into your day so that you can focus on running your business and growing your team rather than worrying about the menial tasks of marketing. And also, we've been in the digital marketing game for over 15 years, which if you think about the age of digital marketing, it's not much older than that. So we've really been there through all the ups and downs and ebbs and flow of the landscape, and we're here to tell that story. Something we're really proud of here is that LocaliQ is a premier partner with all the major local advertising platforms. Now, this isn't just given to any growth marketing platform out there. It's really only given to businesses that prove expertise within the digital marketing landscape, hit a rigorous set of requirements, show thought leadership, and ensure campaign success for our customers. So a little bit about me today, your host. I'm Susie. It's wonderful to meet you all. I'm a senior content marketing specialist over at LocaliQ, where I write educational content on everything under the digital marketing sun, from SEO to PPC to landing pages to display ads, anything and everything. I've created content around it. And how I got into this role was I formerly was a digital marketing consultant over at WordStream, where I was coaching businesses, much like the folks on this call today, through the day-to-day best practices on platforms like Google Ads, Facebook ads, and so on. So I took that real life experience and applied it to the educational content that I write today. A little fun fact about me is I'm based out of Boston, Massachusetts, and I actually just moved to Salem, Mass, which is a super historical town up here, and people love it. It's, you know, super popular area around Halloween time, so looking forward to that. With that, I'm going to try and pass it off to our guest speaker, Justin, today to introduce himself as well. So let's see, Justin, are you able to go ahead and hop on your mic and introduce yourself too? All right, and let's just make sure everyone is able to hear Justin. So we'll just do a quick audio check here. If you can hear Justin introducing himself, go ahead and let me know in that question box and I'll be able to see the responses. Just want to make sure that Justin's audio is working. Justin, just go ahead and give us a hello here.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you're good to
go. I'm Justin Alcada. I am the Director of Website Strategy and Growth for LocaliQ. Myself and my team manage LocaliQ.com, WordStream.com, as well as international properties that support the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Small businesses are in my family's DNA. So I grew up in a family of small business owners spinning across New England. My grandfather owns a printing business. My aunt owns a flower shop. My uncle a car audio business. That's largely what's led me to talking to you all today. I've seen what it takes to run a small business firsthand, and it's not easy, especially when you factor in digital marketing. It's like running a whole second business. So I hope what we covered today will help to make it even marginally easier for you, or at least spark some creativity and ideas on how you can approach landing pages. And like Susie, I am also based in Boston.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. Super excited to hear what you have to say today. It's an honor to have you on. So with that said, I do want to cover just everyone on this call to be aware that you should definitely be following us on social media if you want to attend any of these future webinars. We share out events, articles that businesses should be aware of, any sort of platform updates that advertisers should be aware of. And if you ever want more time to spend on any of the topics that we cover here, because this hour is going to fly by, be sure to check out the blogs on the LocaliQ and WordStream websites. Really common question we get asked on these webinars is, where can you learn more? Where can you learn more about LocaliQ and our offerings? Where can you learn more about the topics that we cover? Definitely our social media pages and our website is the way to go. So you can find LocaliQ on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, and YouTube, and then WordStream on LinkedIn, Facebook, X or Twitter, and YouTube as well. And again, just taking note of those YouTube channels here, that's where you can navigate to easily find all of our webinar recordings on there as well. All right, with that, I do want to warm you all up. If you've attended any of our past webinars, you know I love to keep our attendees on their toes. So I just kind of want us to warm up to the topic of landing pages today and get into the customer mindset a little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all consumers in and of ourselves. So I want you all to let me know in that question box, and I'll call out some of the answers here. What do you think is the most important part of a landing page? What makes a landing page pop out to you as a customer? What do you tend to prioritize in your own business's landing pages if you've already built some? I just want to take a quick pulse check on how we're feeling about landing pages, what's a priority here, and so on. Let's see, we have Bridget saying call to action, Lizzie saying the CTA, Colleen saying copy, Megan saying call to action, David saying outlining possible next steps for sure, Amanda saying including keywords for sure, Lane says the headline, definitely understandable. Let's see, Laura and saying the consistent messaging for sure, some people saying the hook for sure, Amanda saying including some promotions, definitely important. Jacqueline says capturing the audience's interest for sure. Bonnie says including a name, some photos, maybe a mission statement, definitely. Christy says even easy navigation, super important. Cassandra says SEO for sure. Tons of different responses coming in here. I wish I could call out all of them, but thank you for participating in that pop quiz. But as you noticed, I didn't call out a lot of the same answers. I think everyone kind of has a different perspective and different priorities when it comes to their landing pages. So while we talk about some general best practices here today, think about how it could be applying to your specific and unique situation. I know everyone on this call is at different levels in their marketing, and that's totally fine. We're going to make this presentation friendly to all of that. So this is a quick agenda of what we're going to cover, just an intro into landing pages, how to build out landing pages for conversions, and then Justin is going to walk us through some landing page examples. So just to quickly intro the topic of landing pages, I love to warm us up with this image here because landing pages have definitely come a long way, as we can see here on the right. It's pretty funny. I mean, it's not we definitely have, I think, all our own thoughts about this landing page, not to knock this page if it's still out there somewhere, but there's a lot going on here and a lot that we could probably pick apart. But as you could probably imagine, some of the pages that you're familiar with seeing on the web today, we've definitely come a long way. So let's talk about the actual definition of a landing page and how it differs from your business's website. So a landing page is a standalone kind of like page specifically created for a campaign. So for example, if you were to create a landing page for a search ad, you know, you would do it for a specific search ad offer, include a clear call to action, and have it, it's basically like an action-oriented page. And then ideally you would have a thank you page to follow that landing page once your potential customer completes that action. So why are landing pages so important? Why aren't you just leading them to like your business's website homepage? Well, personalized landing pages can increase conversion rates exponentially. So as you can see from that stat on the screen, if you want to increase your conversion rates, you definitely want to go ahead and have a customized landing page for your campaigns. So there are a few different types of landing pages. Here's an example of a lead generation landing page. Pretty popular for service-based businesses, popular for B2B businesses, but really any type of business, even e-com, if you have like a longer sales cycle or something like that, could benefit from a lead generation page. And basically that's where you would try and collect information from your visitor in exchange for, you know, whatever your potential offer might be. There's also another type of landing page called a click-through landing page. Click-through landing page is you consider as almost like a secondary step before they finally convert. So again, like joining now or signing up, creating a booking or something like that. So how do you build out a landing page for conversions? Well, there are a few things that you want to make sure that you're hitting before you even build out your page. First of all, you want to identify your goal, which of course is a given with anything with marketing, but I do want to reiterate that because it can be really easy to get bogged down into all the different things that you're trying to achieve in your marketing. But at the end of the day, you kind of want to focus in on one specific goal for your landing page because you're trying to get someone to complete an action. So you want to make that as clear as possible. Also be thinking about who the audience is, how can you speak to them best, and I know it sounds silly, but really sit there for a second and picture that ideal person in your mind. Who is going to visit that page? What kind of device are they using? What time of day might they be visiting? You know, where are they coming from? What is their interest? What's their lifestyle like? You know, what are they trying to get out of it? Really try and get into their mindset, but get in their shoes to understand how to best speak to them. And I did kind of allude to this in this last part, but again, just knowing how your landing page is going to be used, what campaign it's going to be connected to, whether it be from a search ad, a display ad, an email campaign, or whatever it may be. And then also you want to be considering your competitors here. So it wouldn't hurt to poke around at your competitors' landing pages and just see kind of what your competition is like, what ideas and things about your competitors' landing pages you like or don't like, and so on. So here's how you can write some great copy for your landing page, because ultimately that's one of the most important parts, because you need to make it you know, punchy so that people know exactly what they're trying to get and they're enticed to take an action with you. So of course you want to start with an appealing offer and have that strong headline, but also want to make sure things are as concise and clear as possible. Something I really stress with landing pages is that landing pages are, you know, people are going there and you want them to complete an action, right? So you need to make that as clear as possible that they are supposed to take an action on that page, right? Because it's serving a different function from other parts of your site, like your blog or your homepage, where people might be just gathering information. But at the end of the day, if someone's clicking through to this page and you're paying for that click, maybe if it's from an ad campaign, then you want to make it worth your while and make sure that they know that they're supposed to take an action and kind of help, you know, your customers guide them to pre-qualify themselves to take that action. Also, you probably will have a form on your landing page, and we'll talk more about some of these best practices as we go through the examples from Justin. But again, you want to have that form on there, just making sure that ideally, normally the optimized number of form fields is like 4, which I know is not a lot, but if you can shorten that form as much as possible to make it quick and easy for people to convert, that'll be really important. And then again, the thank you page can also be really important as well. That's how you can boost conversion rates a little bit more in a few ways, right? You could have them complete a secondary action after they hit your landing page. You could also, it just provides a better customer experience because they're getting confirmation that they completed the desired action and they're going to get, you know, their end of the deal out of it, right? So if they sign up for an email download, a thank you page confirming that it's going to land in their email just gives the customers a peace of mind. So as we're optimizing for conversions, again, here are a few other key things to take away here. Making sure that you have one clear goal, one CTA, you know, don't overcrowd it, don't confuse your users with multiple different actions. If you have to have a ton of different actions or a ton of different goals on one landing page, then that's probably a sign that it necessitates you to build out multiple landing pages and split out the campaign. Making sure, again, it's clean and organized, and not even just, you know, to make it more visually appealing, but as some of you called out in that pop quiz, you know, making sure it's easy to navigate, making sure it looks good on smaller screens, on a mobile screen, you know, things like making it concise and clean and organized are going to help with that. Trust signals are also huge here, so using any sort of reviews, social proofing, and so on. Making sure that you're testing your landing page before you go live. It's also super important. So to ensure that your tracking is following through correctly, that the actions will be tracked, and that, you know, whatever secondary actions you're going to provide, let's say you have to send them a guide after they fill out that form, making sure that that guide's going to send out correctly, and so on. Again, I already mentioned optimizing for mobile, which is a huge thing, especially in 2024. And you might also want to be testing your landing pages too. At the end of the day, it's probably going to take some trial and error to find what landing page works best for your business. So don't be afraid to test out a few different types of landing pages before you really settle on one type. So with that, we're going to walk through some landing page examples and learn a little bit more about the landing pages out there, what our available options are, what's looking good on a landing page. So I'm going to hand it over to Justin. Justin, if you want to come back on, unmute your mic and let us know that you're ready to walk through these examples.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we're good to go.
Perfect. All right, let's start with ExpressVPN. So this landing page uses clean, simple design and messaging that will resonate with any visitor. All you really need from a VPN is for it to work. So the selling proposition is really easy to understand. They present an exclusive offer for 3 months free. Notice the capitalization of free to make it stand out. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you know you're not locked into a contract. And their CTA, while it is long, is exactly what they need to help promote conversion. I actually converted on this landing page, so the last one, big ExpressVPN user. But for Wix, let me start by saying, in no way is this Wix design easy to achieve. It's less about the design and more about the approach. So they're not afraid to take risks. They've done so in a really creative way here. Not only is it nice to look at, but there is a CTA to start now that appears throughout the page. So it's accompanied by bite-sized information, makes it really easy to follow along. Remember that landing pages don't need to be boring. They can be fun, they can be visual, they can still serve their purpose, but don't be afraid to test things out. With Airbnb, so Airbnb is known for their advertising. It's always a fresh approach, always makes viewers feel seen. This landing page really brings an interactive module above the fold, which gets the user engaging with it. It also brings a personalized value-add experience. So the map automatically picks up your geolocation when you land there. And keep in mind, for a service-based business, it's always good to reinstate where your business operates. Let visitors know the area that you serve. That's why they're looking for, or that's what they're looking for and why they're looking for a business. They're trying to find someone that's local, someone that can actually get to them. Someone that knows their needs. So this landing page does get a bit busy for my liking. It's for a company called Storyworth, but I think it's important to note 2 factors here. The first, they're selling an emotion just as much as they're selling a product. And the second is that they're doing so while promoting a discount and building trust throughout the page. For a plumber, this could be the relief your customers feel after you fix a leak in their house. For a dealership, it could be a parent buying their kid their first car. Make sure to recognize the emotions that come with the service or sale that you're providing. Keep in mind why you got into the business you're in. It'll help to build a connection with prospects and customers and help them to convert. So I have to say, I'm not 100% sure what they're selling here, but the page makes me want to convert. The CTA being request invite promotes this exclusivity, and it feels like you're becoming part of a community that's highly sought after. The info is really easy to absorb. Yes, that's a pun on skincare, easy to absorb. And it's really captivating. So I found that this landing page does a really good job of bringing you in, making you want to be a part of this. And I might actually just fill out the form and figure out what it is. And for any of you in the New England area, you've probably heard Long Bath's jingle that's on TV that constantly gets stuck in your head. But I found this landing page, it's doing the most. They're providing a lot of information, but their copy and their placement of the copy is done so in a way that makes it extremely easy to skim. So there's 2 different forms of contact above the fold. There's a click to call button and an estimate request button that opens a pop-up form. They're making it easy for visitors to reach out, allowing visitors to feel empowered to do so. with whatever communication method they choose. They have free estimate in there. They bolded the customizable showers and baths. They included lifetime transferable warranty right in their title there. They're doing a lot here, 50% off installation, but it's all put in different places on the page, which makes it feel like it's not overpowering and allows the visitor to get one piece of information at a time. All right, this is the final landing page. It's one that I created. I'm completely biased on the design and messaging. So instead of saying what I like here, I'm just gonna call out 2 different points. The first is the amount of copy on the left-hand column. This page started with much shorter copy, a shorter title, less body copy. We tested it, and to my surprise, people wanted more copy there. We always hear now that people don't read. Well, I'm here to tell you that some people do read. We learned that through our testing. And the more copy we included, the more conversions we received. We also started with the form much further down the page, and an image was at the top of the page. It might work better for a service-based business. Let's say you're a bath remodeler. You want an image up there that shows your work. But for digital marketing, it's all really based around these concepts until we make that custom for your business. So bringing the form up helps to provide us with a lot more conversions on this page. It's not to say that that's what you must do when building a landing page, that you should always have a ton of copy, that you should always have the form above the fold. What I'm trying to say is that you should never, you'll never really know how an audience will react to your landing page unless you test it out. Try out new designs, try out more info versus less. See what your audience reacts to, and pick up on what customers that come into your location or that you're interacting with on an everyday basis, what they like. Do they want more information in those conversations? Do they want less information? Do they just kind of want to shop on their own? Try different things out on your landing page, just like you would do within your storefront or within a consult that you're having with a potential customer. So just remember these 6 things. Keep it super simple. Make sure that you're concise in your messaging, that you're providing value from the jump and trust from the jump. Make sure that they understand that you know this business better than they do, that you understand this business because you've been in it for a long time, and just don't be afraid to try out new things. We try out tests every day, and some of them fail, a lot of them fail, but it's the ones that actually stick are the ones that drive the business forward. Follow the data, make sure that you're looking at that, make sure that you have data set up, data collection set up, so that you can actually look at insights from these landing pages and you can make tweaks in the future to improve them. And don't be afraid to ask for help. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be a digital marketing provider, but just make sure that you're asking people, because that's the only real way to move it forward.
Thank you, Justin, for all of that super insightful information. Those were really great examples. I know I learned a lot, and I love just kind of the few things to remember here. And it is true, you're all not in this alone with your last point there of asking for help. There are resources out there, including digital marketing platforms like ourselves, to help you make sure that your landing pages are set up for success. With that, we're going to jump into a few thought starters, like if there's anything that you all take away from this webinar. We want to make sure that for our landing pages to remember the basics, right? It should be purposeful, impactful, and specific. Don't overthink it. Ask yourself, those key questions about your goal, your audience, how your landing pages are going to get found, what your competition might look like, and just kind of base it off that. It doesn't have to be a really crazy layout like some of those examples that Justin showed us, but more of the elements that some of those examples included are what make a landing page great. So again, keeping it clear and sticking to one goal and one call to action is really important. And it's okay if your business or your digital marketing has multiple goals and multiple actions that you want to complete. Just create separate landing pages for that. And again, I understand for a growing business, it's not always feasible to just be blasting tons of different landing page build outs out there all the time. But if you can start, splitting off a few and maybe setting up a few landing pages to start, is a really good way to kick things off and grow from there. And then also at the end of the day, be prioritizing your copy. Again, there are tons of tools out there that can help you with your copy, but just make sure that you're giving it that final read through and that personal touch. So using that persuasive copywriting, we have tons and tons and tons of copywriting resources on the WordStream and Local IQ blogs, tons of lists of words and phrases that you can use, keywords that you can use, and so on. So just hop on to our websites there and you'll be able to find a lot of resources about that, search it, and do whatever you want to kind of check out some of our different copywriting resources that can really help. But again, just like, you know, testing different types of copy, using emotional words and phrases, thinking about the psychology behind the action that you're looking to get. We have a lot of resources on marketing psychology too that can be helpful when you're trying to think of copy. Because even as someone who writes copy and content all day, I even feel like it's hard to think of the right, you know, punchy headline or something for an ad or for a landing page. So we're all in this together. You know, there is not one set person that knows everything and anything there is to know about landing pages and digital marketing. So just trying your best and doing what you can with the resources that you have is a really great start. So with that, if you feel like, you know, you have more questions, I saw a lot of questions coming into the chat here. I'm going to launch a poll on your screen here, and it's going to take over your whole screen. So there is no slides after this. Just go ahead and answer that poll, and then you can sit back and relax for the audio portion. But if you all feel like you want to optimize your landing pages, squeeze more out of your landing pages, just maximize your landing page success, go ahead and hit yes on that poll. I saw a lot of questions coming in about specific situations, specific types of businesses, specific industries. This is your opportunity to get your questions answered about that. So go ahead and, you know, hit yes on that poll if you have more questions and want them answered at a one-on-one setting with an expert at a time of your choosing. In the meantime, we're going to leave that poll up. So like I said, if you answered it, go ahead and sit back and relax. And we have tons and tons of questions coming in. So I'm going to try and pick out some questions for me and Justin to answer for you. If you all have questions that you haven't asked yet, be sure to send them in now, and we'll go from there. Okay, so great first question coming in here. And Justin, if you can still hear me and we can hear you, I would love to bounce this off to you. Someone had asked, is it safe to say that what works for desktop in terms of landing pages will also work for mobile? Do you find that businesses typically have separate mobile and desktop landing pages, or what would you recommend in that regard?
So I can speak to the landing pages that we run. We have the same desktop landing pages we do on mobile. It just is responsive, which means that all of that content is just getting displayed in another fashion. But we do make sure that our mobile and our tablet experiences are optimized, so that way we know that we're still providing all of that good information that we're providing on desktop to mobile users, but we're doing so in a fashion that allows for them to really get into the data or get into the copy and the messaging, and to not be worried about like design flaws that happen with that. I don't think we've ever done a specific mobile experience. But if you do find that your audience is mostly mobile users, maybe you start there and then you design to desktop afterwards. It really depends on your specific audience, because we know that about, I think, 65% of our users are desktop first and then mobile.
Great answer there, and thanks for that insight. And I love that you're using like our real life examples and our experiences as well. It's a really good point to call out there. One other person, Paris here, asked, is there any difference in building a landing page for maybe like a pay-per-click search campaign versus a paid social media campaign? I'll bounce that. I have a few thoughts if you don't have any specific answers to that, but I do want to bounce that to you, Justin. Any thoughts on creating landing pages for different channels like that?
I would say just make sure that whatever the initial ad is, whether it's on social media, whether it's pay-per-click, that messaging pulls through into the landing page. You always want to be consistent. You always want to draw users in and then have something that's relevant on that landing page. It's important to make sure that there's a uniformity across both of those.
Agreed. I think that's a really good call out that I actually didn't even think of, Justin, that, you know, providing that consistent experience across the multiple different landing pages so that no matter how your customers are coming to your landing page, they're still getting, you know, a similar offer, and they're not confused, right? So I think that's a good call out there. Sorry to rapid fire these questions at you, Justin, but so many great questions coming in, you all. Another good one for you, Justin. This person, Michael, had asked, you know, we feel like the less questions we ask, the more leads that they get on their landing page, but it's not, you know, always very good, like at the end of the day, sell rates or, you know, good lead quality. So Michael asked, do you find that the more you ask on a landing page, the better the quality of the lead? I definitely have some thoughts on this, but go ahead, Justin. What would you recommend to find that balance of like how much you should have on your landing page versus how little?
Here's the thing. So with our landing pages, I feel like we don't want to stop people from filling out the form, and we don't want to stop people from coming in and having a free digital marketing assessment, because we know the value that we can provide. And I know it's probably a lot to manage all of the leads that come in, especially if they're not qualified leads. So for a small business owner, I'm sure that's a lot of work in its own. But you might miss out on someone that doesn't want to take the time to necessarily answer a longer form if you provide that on your landing page. So you might miss out on a lead. It's really dependent on how comfortable you are with the amount of leads that you're getting and the quality of leads that you're getting. I typically would lean towards making it more generalized, so that way you know that every single person that lands here that could be a potential fit for your business is getting through the door and is at least getting in front of you. If you don't have as many resources available to you and don't have as much time to look through these leads, maybe you do ask a couple other identifying questions on your landing page that will help weed those people out.
Totally agree there, Justin. That was basically what I was going to say as well. So we'll jump to the next question here from Andrew, and I think this would be another good one for you, Justin. He says, based on your experience, would you say that an immediately accessible CTA would be more important than design per se, or do you feel like users will base their willingness to proceed based on how well the page is built? So basically trying to balance like the importance of having that CTA and that action versus having like a really nice, flashy, easy to use design.
I think it's all about balance. So we always want to have some CTA above the fold that's driving users either to a form on the page or that's driving users to a different page on your site that contains the moment of conversion. But the design, you want to make sure that things are laid out well and that there's space so that people have time to really comprehend the information that you're providing. So don't try to shove everything into above the fold. I would say try to balance it out. Make sure that the real important points that you're trying to make are visible above the fold. So if there's some type of a discount, if there is like a certain number of years in business that you're really proud of that you want to include, there's stats or maybe a customer quote even that you think is really, really compelling for your business. Don't be afraid to try that out above the fold, but the CTA is really what you're trying to get people to do. You're trying to get people to convert. So I would say a well-designed landing page might have less of an effect if the CTA isn't present for the user.
I agree with that. You know, I do agree, like it's a balance and ideally you have both. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're trying to get those actions in. So I think that is definitely, you know, a little bit more important, and the design can come as you continue to evolve your landing page strategy. Justin, Megan asked a question here that I feel like you could probably speak to too. She asked, could landing pages have any SEO value, or are they just separate pages just for ads? Like, could you use a landing page for both an ad and SEO value, or would that just really be two separate strategies there?
So our landing pages are de-indexed, which means that Google can't actually read them and they're not providing any SEO value to us. These are specific cases that we're using for our paid efforts, whether it's PPC or social media or a display campaign. and they're not providing any SEO value to the site. It's really dependent on your business model, but I typically don't like to send people to a full website that has your navigation, because then they could get lost. And then the whole point of the PPC campaign, for instance, is the point of conversion, but then you've lost the point of conversion. And even if they do convert on your website in another area, you're not able to track that back to the original source, which means you're not actually effectively seeing how your campaign is performing. I think it's important to kind of keep that in mind. And if you're able to split up the SEO value from the lead value, do it that way. That way you're also testing in a closed off environment versus testing on something that could impact your overall site traffic.
That is really good insight that, again, I didn't necessarily think of. So thank you again, Justin, for that great insight. I really appreciate you answering all of these questions. There are tons more questions coming in, but a lot of them I'm seeing are definitely specific to specific industries and more. So I have one more question that I'll go ahead and ask Justin here, but for everyone else that has questions about their specific business model and business industry, their specific scenarios or situations, please feel free to still answer that poll on the screen there. That's really where you can get those types of more specific questions answered in a one-on-one setting. And for our last question here, Justin, this is, I think, a good one. Someone asked, what is a good time frame to make changes or adjust your landing page? Like, is there a certain time frame to test changes on a landing page? What would you recommend are the best practices there?
So it all depends on how many people are seeing the landing page, how many people are landing there. Like I said, I manage localiq.com and wordstream.com. Wordstream.com has been around much longer, so it has way better SEO than localiq.com does, which means we get a lot more people to that site than we do of localiq.com. And because of that, our tests hit statistical significance much quicker than that of localiq.com. A best practice is usually around 2 weeks, so allow it to run for 2 weeks, but really look at the amount of traffic that's going there. You'll want at least a few hundred people, I would say, to at least see the landing page before you make a decision. It could just be that there's an off week as well. And so like we have weeks where all of a sudden we'll have 0 conversions on a landing page, but then we'll have weeks where we have hundreds of conversions. It really does ebb and flow. So the thing is, just don't give up, just keep trying, keep testing out new things, and you'll eventually find your stride with it.
That's a great answer. I love the positive twist at the end, in sticking through all the ebbs and flows of your tests as they go. And again, something that I usually feel like I get hung up on time frames. So I think it is really important to consider the volume or the traffic and the quality of the test rather than how long it really runs. So that was really great insight too. So again, everyone, thank you so much for joining. I know this was a ton of information, so you will get the recording and the materials in your inbox later today. You can find the recordings on our YouTube channel. If you have more specific questions, be sure to answer that poll here before we close out. But I know that we really appreciate you all joining. We do these webinars monthly, so we have another one coming up at the end of May, so be sure to register for that. I'll give you all a few minutes of your time back, but thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate it. Justin, it was an honor having you on and getting your expert insights. So thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone.